I'm Scott Clark.
And I'm Rick Entrop.
And we are coming to you from the coffee shop. It is January 26th, and we are in Espresso Vivace Alley 24 coffee shop in South Lake Union. That was a mouthful.
It was a mouthful. But it just spewed out so naturally.
Well, there's an Espresso Vivace stand that's very, very popular in Capitol Hill, which I've actually officially renamed Hobo Hill. Now I call it Hobo Hill whenever I refer to it.
We have a hobo in Woodinville.
A hobo?
Yeah,
that's
we
so
got
sweet.
one.
You should make him a t-shirt.
Yeah, actually, there's a few, but there's one
hobo.
that hangs out kind of by a gas station by Jack in the Box there. He's a regular.
If I was homeless, Woodinville wouldn't be too shabby of a place to be.
Except that nobody gives
gives
anybody the time of day that's panhandling there.
I guess
Yeah,
like crazy.
we should make a hobo Olympics.
Yeah.
Hobo Olympics.
Yeah, hobo Olympics.
Yeah, but there's an Espresso Vivace stand up there that's like always packed, and it's like, and I remember really, like the times I've been there, I really liked the coffee, and so I was like, oh, this is pretty close to my house, we should go there, because they actually have seating.
This is relatively a new area too. This is not that old.
This is the Amazon Nintendo
REI
employee housing project of Seattle. Like all of the people who live in this in South Lake Union basically are the tech people.
Yeah.
And it's all really expensive apartments, and they can walk downtown. And it's like,
it does look kind of Bellevue-ish.
oh, it's totally mini Bellevue, smacked in the middle of Seattle. And like, yeah, it's really interesting. Like if you go to some of the restaurants like on a Sunday morning for brunch, it's like all tech hipsters and their wives. It's really interesting.
Everybody's looking down at their eye or their...
Nobody talking, everybody on their device.
The income divide between this street and like where the highway runs through to go up to Capitol Hill is like $40,000.
Yeah, or more.
I'm sure.
It's probably up. I bet you it's up 100,000.
I'm sure, totally. Well, the person I know that lives down here makes $150,000 more than I do a year.
Oh wow, more than you.
More than I do.
So that person should be picking up lunch.
So they make 160,000 is what you're saying?
Exactly. Precisely 160,000. No, I did my taxes this year though, and I was like, oh, I make more than I thought I make. Like mentally, I'm like, wow, I make like 11,000 a year. But like when I did it, I was like, well, this salary isn't such destitution, even though it is destitution.
I think I make more than that on unemployment.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm on unemployment. I feel like I'm volunteering my time and collecting unemployment.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just like to give my job crap, but I do make almost nothing.
Well,
What?
Have you been looking?
Yes, I've been looking for a job. No, I haven't gotten any offers yet.
No offers.
Okay.
There are a lot of lines in the water right now, so.
You're trolling.
Yes.
Well, I think one should always be looking for a job.
It's true.
You know?
It's funny too because I have a friend who recently found a new job that to me is fantastic. And it's a lot better than her current job, and it pays more, and it's kind of the next logical step, and I'm like, no brainer, take it. And she's like, well, I'm giving myself the weekend, and I was like, this is weird to me, like I couldn't figure out what was going on with her.
Right.
And then yesterday we were talking, and she was like, well, my mom is putting a lot of pressure on me to stay at this job because I've only been there for like 2 years, and she has a really
nowadays turnover is like huge.
2 years
year is
the
a
time.
Yeah.
I've been at my job for 9 years.
know,
2 years is
might as
almost
well
like
be
a
dead.
career now.
Yeah.
I know.
You'll shift careers every 5
and
years.
her mom has a good point, which is like, why don't you just have some time at a job? And my argument though is, yes, but why not make it the job that pays better?
Yeah, oh totally.
Yeah,
Like,
put the correct
spend some time
timing.
in
Right,
that
right.
job.
Something better comes along. That's the free market. That's
Yeah,
what we're supposed to do.
And
Move up.
I also am a person who switches jobs every 2 years, and that's sort of half my boredom and half me looking for the next thing, because I'm always a little unsatisfied with where I am. I'm always kind of looking ahead, which interestingly enough, oh, go ahead.
Well, I just say, has that ever hurt you in an interview? Has anybody ever looked and been like, I see you've only been here for this amount of time?
No, but my resume is starting to get quite long, and I think maybe on the people I don't see who are looking for people who are going to be lifers probably pass me by because of my 2 years everywhere.
Yeah.
But I actually was like, I was trying to figure it out because I was like, well, I'm unsatisfied with my job because I don't make enough money. And also because, like, the work I'm doing, while being interesting, is not the ideal. And so I've been trying to figure out what the ideal is.
So this is more like an interim type position for you.
It's really good experience.
Right.
It's clinical work. I'm getting my license. It's licensure hours, but like I think I might I know eventually I want to get a PhD because I'm interested in research. But I was
how much more school would that take?
Like
4
7
years?
years.
Oh, another 7 years? Wow.
Well, you usually do like 2 years of class prep, and then you do a dissertation, which can take like 1 year if you're a crazy person, 1 to 5 years. So it's like a range, but the average PhD is like 4 or 5 or 6 years.
But you'll be set
5 or 6.
for pretty much the rest of your life with that, right?
Maybe, but I mean, in social science, if you get a PhD, essentially you become a professor.
Oh, so you'll teach then,
and you
right?
teach and do research, which, I mean, you make really good money as a professor at
especially
a nice
college.
college.
Tenure and stuff.
Yeah. But it's not like the magic bullet. And usually, I mean, theoretically I could get a fellowship where I could like get my tuition in exchange for teaching master's level classes.
Okay.
So then you're a PhD student while teaching, and that's what a lot of my professors did who were working on their PhDs. But anyway, so that's something that I'm like, well, when I get rid of these student loans I already have, through a loan forgiveness thing that social work has a bunch of, and give myself like 7 or 8 years in the field, then I'll start thinking about a PhD program. That's always been kind of my thing, because you don't want to do it too quick, or then you're a PhD with no experience, and that's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I could probably still get involved in some research, even though I'm not a PhD, like as a research assistant, because I've done that one time before, where I did transcription for some things, and I just got really excited about it, and now I want to find like a part-time helping out with a research thing gig. This is my new ooh, that'd be really fun. Like, I just like science. Yeah, I just find it like exciting to like have like a hypothesis and research it and look at stuff. And like even the math part of it, I think is cool. Like the statistical analysis, I dig. I'm a nerd. I'm into it.
Isn't it like your science on?
I totally want to get my science on. And it's made me I went to a training this week that was a day-long training for people on working with suicidal clients.
I keep thinking of Ghostbusters in my head for some reason. I don't know why, because that's what they did. They were like clinical.
They were totally scientists.
I don't know.
Who invented the hack.
He was trying to do the mind reading game thing, and the hot blonde was always getting him right. And then
that's just
the
my
one dude actually got one right, but he was like, nah, gave him the shock.
Oh, I love that
so
movie.
close.
It's so smart.
Yeah. That's what I keep thinking of. Just because that's probably the closest relevance I have to what you're talking about.
To research, totally. Yeah, well, I went and did it in paranormal. Actually, maybe that'd be kind of an interesting research thing. But, I went to this training on working with people who are suicidal, and half of it was treatment and stuff, but the other half was just statistics on research or on suicide. And I was like eating it up. I was like, oh, man, this is so interesting.
I heard a really weird statistic about suicide, about like when Big Agro started going into the U.S., a lot of farmers, the suicide rate for farmers was just through the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Like hundreds of thousands of farmers commit suicide. Yeah.
It makes
crazy.
sense, because economic reasons, they call it a secondary driver of suicide.
Yeah.
That if you have a predisposition to suicidal ideation, economic, like a stressor that can trigger it.
Yeah.
Because the top 3 are family problems, or like a loss of a family relationship, like death or divorce or whatever.
Right.
Economics, and I forget what the third one is now.
Sexual deprivation?
Yes. No. I forget what it is. Yeah, I can't remember.
Well, the thing that I saw on was a neat documentary, which I'm not all the way through yet. There's like 3 parts to it, and each one's an hour. But it's a documentary about.
Is it the Dust Bowl?
No,
Ken Burns?
no. It. I'm trying to remember the title. It's like the men who made us fat, or something like that.
Oh, weird.
It's
Cool.
kind of the business behind why we're where we're at nutritionally. And
do you have a link to it, or are you watching it
yeah,
on
it's
YouTube?
a BBC documentary.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, totally.
I'd love to watch that.
You know,
that's really interesting to me.
Yeah,
my warehouse, we warehouse a lot of organic cereals from Canada, and we both with the reps come down here from Nature's Path, and I was actually talking to the guy, and he's like, I can't believe you guys voted down that 522.
Oh, about
the
did you know how much money they put into that to fight
it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I keep telling people.
The problem with that though, the GMO thing is that they don't have a definition for a GMO, and everything is GMO. Like corn, we genetically modified corn. We just did it before scientists were injecting things. To me, the line between a GMO and a non-GMO.
Well, my big issue is the patent law regarding that, where they can patent live things now.
Right.
And
that's a different thing. If it was a law about patent, I didn't vote for the GMO labeling.
Right.
Because I felt like it was a waste of resources to something that wouldn't have much of an effect on what we actually, because the definitions were bad, and there's no indication that all GMOs are bad for health. Most GMOs are actually good for health because they they add nutrients to food, and really there's it's just saying all of these things are negative health impact.
Well, I think they weren't saying that. They're saying we just want to label it. We want to make the consumer.
Right, but then there's not a good definition of what you want to label.
Sure. Well, there's not a good definition of terrorism either.
Right. I know.
Anyway, sorry.
But if it was a thing about can these people patent?
That
I would totally have voted for that.
Most of the world outlawed
GMOs.
Most of the world outlawed GMOs.
Right.
It's most. It's like the United States is pretty much the only dirt in the world that has genetically actually. Where they go into a lab and they bend nature, whereas like you're talking about, they've done it through cropping and stuff like that, and pollination type stuff that happens naturally in nature anyway. Naturally
I
in nature.
have a problem with
there we go.
Words like natural. Because I don't feel that they have a meaning that is something that isn't socially constructed. To me, everything is natural because everything is the natural world. There is nothing unnatural.
Yeah, we are of the world, so whatever we do should theoretically be from.
And to me, it's an interesting distinction that bees processing pollen into honey is a natural process, but man processing substances into plastic is an unnatural.
Interesting you bring up the bees though, because a lot of what's happening with the new GMO way they garden or the way they actually manufacture food is affecting bees.
Yeah, they think. I watched the vanishing of bees thing. It is interesting.
I heard that too. If the bees die, pretty much that's it. That's like the bees
die.
Yeah,
they've been saying that for 30 years too, but. I don't know. I'm one of those people that's
if one seed blows from one garden that has GMO stuff and blows into a neighboring crop, and then it gets infested, and then now they sue that farmer for the rest of his stuff.
And there are so many problems with patent law now.
They patent farming where they
go out and
they just do nothing but patent stuff, so that in case someone ever wants to do it.
Which is the thing. Scott and I one time were talking about Adam Carolla's being sued.
It's patent troll.
Patent trolling.
Yeah. Adam Carolla's being sued because someone at a previous time patented the idea of podcasting.
Oh, you're kidding!
Now is going after the Comedy Death Ray guys, This American Life, Adam Carolla, because they're doing a host-based recorded thing that's distributed through the internet, and he's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
and he's like, I will spend all of my money to destroy you because you're just basically.
I'm actually going to go to his crowdsourcing website, and I'm going to donate money. Yeah, because
I would think about that because it's really. I mean, what needs to be fixed, in my opinion, is the patent laws.
Right.
Because I feel like they're. In all aspects, not just GMO.
Are you trying just patent or trademark and copyright, or just all the above?
Patent? Just the patent.
Really, patenting. I mean, trademark and copyright, I think, are important because they protect artistic content, and it doesn't.
To a degree. I mean, how long does Mickey Mouse need to be copyrighted?
I know that's true.
I mean,
it does create those dynasty things where you're still whatever. Things should become open source sooner.
Yeah. Okay. So Candy Crush is trying to get a trademark on the word candy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that any other gaming, like they might go after
Candy
Candyland or any game with candy in it.
That's messed up.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think we're at a weird point because we, as a society, I think value open source in every aspect but business.
Yeah, Creative Commons.
Yeah, and like the whole internet is driven by people who
are
let's share
there's so
everything.
much more access to media and content and entertainment and information that it's...
Yeah, so I feel like our kids will have, like, they will just, like, their laws will be vastly different than ours because I think we come from, like, 2 generations ago where it's like the little toy maker, the big company's like, I'm taking your toy, and it's like, well, how do we protect that?
I think we should be able to share whatever we want. If you want to post a movie that you liked on your page, post it. Because you're not saying, I made this movie, you're facilitating the pollination of it or the dispersal of it anyway. So, like me as a DJ, I think I should be able to play whatever song I want in whatever contest because that's more like a collage than a...
Some artists are open to that too, though. But some are like, dude, I can't get paid if you pay.
But you can if I make a lot of money. I'm all for making sure that money gets, like let's say a DJ makes $100,000 a year and he made X amount off of this mix that had this song in it. Yeah, he should give some to that artist, but he shouldn't be shut down and not allowed to do that. Right. I mean, pay what you're due, and everybody should get a cut. So within reason.
Once you reach a certain income off of what you're doing, then you share.
So let's say your first $20,000 off of a project is free, but anything above that, you start divvying out. I mean, but something to where we should be able to share ideas, share other works, share things, and as long as you're not claiming it your own, that's where I think that you want to really put copyright law into. It's like, I'm the one who did Whoop, There It Is first, or whatever it is, so there's no confusion.
Totally. Well, and I think that the biggest barrier to that is a studio-based system in most art forms, where it's the movie studio going, hey, wait a minute,
it's always the middleman.
The record studio and like the artists. I mean, if I made a movie, say I made like an independent movie. And I didn't want to sell it to a studio. I was like, I'm gonna, try to sell it to like a distribution place where they put it on, independent download or whatever, on demand or something. And like, I wanted to put it out there for people to see, to get a name for myself as an artist. I might put it on YouTube, and if people were like, "This is a great movie," then maybe I get a job out of that.
They're like, "Hey, I like this person. I want them to do more stuff. Here's $5."
Yeah, totally. And I think we're going toward that because there are a lot of places where it's like, a lot of it's in music, but it's like pay what you think it's worth.
Sure.
And so if you're like, I just want to download it and share it.
Like Radiohead and Trent Reznor did an album that way.
And I think there's going to be more movies like that because movies are being like crowdsourced a lot more now.
Right. Yeah. The means of getting money and also the production costs are going way down.
Totally. So I don't know. I think we're on that cusp of it. It's going to change. I don't know what it's going to change to, but I think it's going to be more.
It's uncomfortable, but it's in the long run. It's going to be good.
I hope so. Yeah. Let's let people share this stuff, but just don't try to make it yours. Don't claim that you're the author of it.
Yeah. Totally.
So, which is what copyright should do. It shouldn't protect people from their money. It should protect people from their ideas.
Yeah, it's true. Because I can imagine if I was an inventor of something really spectacular, and then a big company just was like, yoink. Yeah. I would feel like my life was destroyed.
Yeah, totally.
But there's a balance in there where it's not.
If you had the idea for Ghostbusters and MGM came in and said, "Oh wait, we like that too. We're just going to do it,"
which happens a lot with like the Disney Channel, or not the Disney Channel. Disney stole a lot of shit from a lot of people. There's a really famous story.
Their first 10 cartoons were all just Storytime ripoffs. I mean, Cinderella.
Yeah, totally.
And there's I don't think they came up with an original idea until
Winnie the Pooh,
Stitch, I think, or something.
They had there's a famous story with Disney that on top of the Disney studios, there's these marble statues of the 7 dwarves that Walt Disney personally commissioned from this like ancient marble sculpting family in Italy, and they were like this family made these dwarves, and they were like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars each. And then Walt Disney was just like, once it got delivered, he was like, he never paid. And he was just like, fuck you guys. He's like, what are you going to do?
I haven't.
And didn't, and like,
oh my goodness.
anyway,
what a stickler, man. That's miserly.
He's like a notorious racist and like anti-Semite, and was
Does
basically a horrible person.
Does the movie go into that at all? I haven't seen that.
What movie?
With Tom Hanks.
Oh, I'm sure not.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a love story to Disney.
That's what's her name?
I haven't seen it yet. Emma Thompson?
Well, Bette Midler was saying... It was not Bette Midler.
What?
Who am I thinking of?
Emma Thompson?
No, that was not...
We're talking Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, but she came out and was presenting an award.
Yeah, Emma Thompson. And she was drunk and she had her shoes off. Yeah, that's Emma Thompson.
Oh.
With blonde hair, British. Yeah, that's Emma Thompson.
All right, I'm getting my facts mixed up then. I'm confused.
Speaking, you were saying you're watching the Harry Potter movies. She plays the divination professor.
Yeah. I really like her.
And is like one of the most famous Shakespearean actresses of our generation.
Yeah, I think she's very attractive, in a weird way. You know what I mean? She's not like the normal attractive.
Not like super hot, but like beautiful.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I've been obsessed with her since the 9th grade when I saw her in...
wasn't she an adaptation too? Wasn't she like the writer in adaptation? Okay. Yeah.
Or no, wait, no. Are you thinking Meryl Streep?
No, never mind.
Meryl Streep was the plant.
Yeah, not adaptation. The other one with Will Ferrell.
That's what I was thinking. It was Meryl Streep also saying
where he does
Stranger Than Fiction.
Yes, exactly.
I love
Thank
that
you.
movie.
Okay.
Meryl Streep also came out and said something about Walt Disney too.
Oh, really?
So that's what I was.
I was having too much fun during that part of the Golden Globes, but I did. I was at a friend's house and we were chatting it up, and so it was like when it seemed like there wasn't anything that exciting to watch, we would be talking, so we missed like half the ceremony.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
I missed it all. I didn't see it.
I gotta go to bed so early. I don't see anything unless it's on demand.
5, but you do go to bed really early.
On Sundays, that's about on.
Totally. But Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, which the host of any award show does like this much, like barely anything.
Yeah, for Golden Globes.
But their monologues at the beginning, and they did these little bits where like Amy Poehler played Mr. Golden Globe. You know how Miss Golden Globe is the one who gives it out, and it's always like somebody famous's beautiful daughter.
Okay.
This time it was Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick's stunning 22-year-old daughter who's like 6 feet tall.
Nice.
And then Amy Poehler comes out in a tuxedo with like Justin Bieber hair as Mr. Golden Globe, Tina Fey's adult son.
Okay.
And it was the funniest. She's just like,
because
I don't want to do this, Mom, and like wearing like Converse with a tuxedo. It was really cute. And their whole monologue at the beginning was really sharp, really funny, like just like ripping into people. And they kept like Amy Poehler would go into the audience and sit next to nominees, so when they'd cut to it, she'd just be like sitting there staring at the camera like throughout the show, which I like. It was totally cracking me up.
I wish I would have watched that.
They're really funny.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, but the rest of the show was that's like if you just squeezed their time together, it was like 8 minutes spread out over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So not that exciting.
Well, speaking of that, something to watch on YouTube. Look for good Vine compilations.
Good Vine?
Like, Vine, where people do like little 30-second things. I love
that, yeah.
But they'll do like compilations of just a bunch of them. And they're pretty funny.
Right on. When I saw Doug Loves Movies here at Bumbershoot last year, Doug Loves Movies is a podcast I love.
Right.
Doug Benson does a lot of vining, and at the beginning of the show, they showed a compilation of his vines.
Oh, yeah.
It was like maybe 20 of them strung together. That was like so funny. It was really, really, and
That's
I was
cool.
like, I always meant to go and look for more of those.
Yeah. Well,
And
Bat Dad is my favorite.
You sent me that one. Bat Dad's really funny. I didn't realize that was a vine, maybe.
Yeah.
I assumed it was like...
It's just a compilation of vines.
Yeah. It's
Is that where he's got the guy who's got the kids in the minivan? He's got the Batman cowl on. He's doing the Christian. He's doing the Christian Bale.
Right.
Batman.
Exactly.
That's really funny.
Yeah. His family, or at least his wife, is probably just really sick of it. But you can tell she's just like, oh man.
Yeah. Those were really good. So I wanted to talk last week, after our podcast, I wanted to go thrift store shopping because I don't remember if I brought it up last week, but I was watching a lot of Dirty Money. You guys heard this show? It's like a reality show. Supposedly they're trash collectors who make art out of trash, but they are not.
No.
What they are is people who hunt thrift stores and antique malls looking at, one episode out of 8 had one time they found stuff actually in the trash, and it was reclaimed wood.
Oh, like they're not dumpster diving?
No. They say that they're dumpster divers, but in the show they never dumpster dive. So I don't know. They just like go to thrift stores and, vintage markets and like those little like antique in quote marts that are just crammed with stuff, and they like pick through that. They're more like pickers than
don't go to
trash.
Fremont looking for that stuff because all their stuff is like
super expensive. But if you want to go somewhere for it, the St. Vincent de Paul in Bothell. I was driving by and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna stop there
I think Mom goes there.
Does she? That makes sense. Mom's really good at sniffing out the good thrift stores. But and I used to be good at it, but I got bed bugs in Las Vegas, which turned me off of thrift stores, even though thrift stores had nothing to do with why I got bed bugs. Just being around too much unknown made me uncomfortable for a long time, but now I'm over it. Anyway, so that show made me want to go to thrift stores because I like the hunt. Mom has totally influenced me in that way. So I was driving by and I stopped, and there was like 20 people milling around the door, and I was like, what's up? And I walked up, and it just wasn't open yet, and it was 20 people waiting like in line to get in. And I was like, and I just got in line.
Like Black Monday or Black Friday.
And then I was listening to other people talk as we went in, and like these 2 old guys like walked in and went straight to the records, and they're like looking through, and then the one guy goes to the other, he's like, well, these haven't changed since yesterday. And I was like, you were here yesterday.
Just daily looking for that, just hunting that for that gold nugget, nice. That's awesome.
But this place is, I'm not kidding, like Walmart size, and the whole back room is just furniture. And like I was texting my nephew, and I was like, oh, this is where we're coming for furniture. Because it was cheap and really in good condition. And like there was a drop leaf table that like if I could have gotten it into my car, I would have just bought it. But it was too, like you couldn't even, I got under it and like checked if you could take the legs off. But it was like an old style drop leaf. That went from like the sides flap down, and so it's about card table size, and then it extends to like 13 feet at full length.
Like 40 leaves in it or something?
It had like 5 leaves you add, and then it had sides that flap down.
Wow.
So it went from very small to very large.
Thing must have weighed. You would have broke your car getting it.
But it was like $70.
Did it have? How would it support the weight all the way out? If it was just a center, was it
I
a
wish
center?
I still had. It had, when it was compressed, it had 6 legs
with the legs
together.
Kind of breathe with it, if you will. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like underneath it, like, how could I disassemble this? And I was like, there's no way to disassemble it because I wanted it. I was like, it's great wood. It was mahogany. It was like a gorgeous $70.
Oh my goodness!
I know, right? Wow. I was like, I wish I had a van. And I actually thought about calling our sister and got the van.
You could have bought it had it held.
But I have no place to store it.
For now, until you get your new place?
So, and I'm sure there will be something else, because it was one of like 10 tables that looked pretty good, but that was just the one that I was like, if we had a place right now, I would buy it in a second. Anyway, and I ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff, but like huge thrift store with nice stuff, and like lots of books, lots of...
Did they have VHS tapes?
Ooh, no. Actually, I don't think they did. But have you heard of the Found Footage Film Festival, the FFFF? It was started by these guys who just are hipsters, and they troll thrift stores for hilarious VHS tapes. And they put together a little film festival of like the funniest found footage, so like they find a VHS tape of like an aerobics video from the 80s.
Oh, nice.
And they put together this festival that's like, let's watch hilarious shit from the 80s. And like I think it might even be like online. You can find a lot of this. I think they have a website that they post like the best of things that are just like really funny VHS tapes that people find over the years.
Found Footage Festival.
It's pretty it's hipstery.
Yeah.
So, speaking of hipsters, I watched a documentary this week called Bronies.
Bronies.
The
when did it come out?
Adult male, I think this year. Or 2013.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's brand new
Within
on
a year,
Netflix.
kind of thing?
Yeah, but it's, the documentaries on Netflix a lot of times are like brand new because documentaries don't get distribution. But it's the adult, mostly male, but there are some female. They focus mostly on the male adult My Little Pony's Friendship is Magic fan base. And My Little Pony's Friendship is Magic is the new My Little Ponies cartoon, which I had just watched with my niece, who we had a slumber party last weekend at my house, which was very fun. And we watched My Little Ponies, and I mercilessly made fun of it the whole time we were watching it because I was like, "This show is so dumb."
And then,
like,
you should have.
I know, but then 2 days later, I'm watching this.
My Little
thing.
Ponies from when we were kids. I mean,
I always thought it was so. I thought it was dumb even when I was like, "What do I do with this horse?"
It was
for
like
boring
girls.
Barbies.
Okay, it was the whole. The whole thing
girls.
was there's the tail, and then there's the mane, and there's stuff to comb.
Right, but it's like.
Rick, did you have one?
Heck no, no, but my sisters did.
Yeah.
Some of them did.
All I ever did with any doll was braid its hair.
Yeah.
That was the entire function of Barbies, like My Little Pony, anything with hair, I just braided it. Like, that's all I did. I don't know how, I would like, I guess you kind of played with them a little bit, but like, I don't remember like making up stories and stuff.
With G.I. Joes, I would totally make up stories and plots and make cool little things for them to do, and I'd get like old styrofoam and like try to make like forts with them. And
we'd build forts in the trees out back.
Oh, snow was the best. Like making G.I. Joe forts.
And then the
snow.
Barbies came in for the USO release.
Well, and then did you ever do where you'd make like Matchbox tracks out in the dirt?
Did that Matchbox Cities and stuff.
It was all about
I would make clothes for my Barbies. I would like sew little dresses and stuff for them.
Yeah, because when I was in like 6th grade, junior high is when the first Kung Fu Grip actually came out.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I do remember you guys you had a good like.
I had a lot of G.I. Joes.
Well, it seemed like you guys had a lot of love for the action figures.
Oh yeah, well Star Wars was what set that off. It was like Star Wars, and then those dolls were or the action figures or whatever.
The dolls. There's a way boys can play with dolls. They call them action figures.
I don't know. I think I grew. I'm sure when I was younger than I remember what I did with them. I played with them that way, but when I got older, like I remember being in like 5th grade, and I was like, Barbies. But all my friends were still really into Barbies, and I was just like, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think I grew. But I always loved stuffed animals. Like through adulthood, man, I could.
Yeah, well, you went on a frog kick for a while there. You had your Volvo with
all my frogs.
With your glue gun frogs in the dashboard.
I had the sweetest classic Volvo in high school.
Oh yeah.
That to this day I'm sad about because nobody taught me how to take care of a car, and I ruined it. And it was the greatest car ever. Because
you
I
killed
just
a Volvo? Those
didn't.
things are like death proof.
I know, but I got in accidents and wouldn't get the stuff fixed, and I never changed its oil ever. Never once changed the oil. Because I didn't know.
Reminds me, we got to do that,
I didn't know, and I remember being like 20, and my dad saying something like, well, when was the last time you changed the oil? And I was like,
Changed the what?
What do you mean? And he was like, change the oil. And I was like, it is your responsibility. You are my dad. To tell me when I am 16.
He didn't show me anything either. I don't know why he would show you.
But like it's weird with Dad.
I didn't start driving until I was like 20
Dad
anyway, though.
Loves to teach people stuff. Like he loves to teach people stuff
about stuff he knows about. I don't think he's very car savvy.
That's
I mean, no offense against Dad, but I mean, if it's math or computers or
sports
or how to get somewhere or weather.
Totally. Oh man, don't ever tell my dad you're going somewhere. He will want to know down to like what road you're taking to get to the freeway exit, how you're getting there.
I'm just going on the road that the cars drive on.
I know. No, he will want to know.
Are
you taking advantage?
I drove Dad home. Oh my goodness. I drove Dad home. This was probably a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. He told me where to take the Edison exit to get back to his house. He's like, now you're going to want to take this exit up here. Like, wow.
You're like, Dad.
Oh my goodness.
I've been to your home.
Yeah, and or the Tri-Cities.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I remember we were
Anyway, sorry, Dad. I just had to get that out.
Love you.
You know, right.
But like, he knows he does it, and that it drives people crazy. Because I can't remember what we were doing, but I was like,
well, I know I do it. And it drives you crazy.
a little bit. I tell you though immediately because
yeah.
I know how it gets. But we were driving somewhere last time I was in the Tri-Cities, and I was like, I got it from here, Dad. And he was like, well, you gotta turn. I got it from here, Dad. I know where I know where we are going now.
I would probably miss exits on purpose.
Oh my gosh,
His
head would explode.
Yeah, just to see what he would do.
No, then the older he gets, the worse it gets. It's really bad. Like he's
the head injury didn't help. So
he gets really fixated.
Did he really have an injury? Is that a joke?
Okay. Big time head injury. Yeah. He was playing tennis and rolled on his back and
wow.
And he's like his whole like bottom of his face was bruised up and he was hospitalized for a good month at least.
Yeah, it was.
One wouldn't think that would be a very.
Well, I think his recollection is he was going back for a lob and he tripped and then just woke up in the hospital.
Yeah.
So my guess is he probably tripped and then landed mainly on his head.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. Like that kind of a fall, people die.
Oh yeah,
it's your brain's still.
Sure. Yeah.
It's really scary.
I'm sure. I don't recall what the prognosis was, but I'm sure there was a concussion.
Oh yeah, I consider it to be a traumatic brain injury because he
sure.
has all the symptoms of TBI. You know, and it's like it scrambled his brains a little bit. Like
anyway.
How long ago was this?
Like 3 years ago.
I'd guess could be more than 3, but probably more than 2.
Wow.
So
it's like in grad school.
It might have been longer actually. I don't know.
I was in grad school because that was why I couldn't come home because I was like in the middle of I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Alex's mom was still around. So it's got to be about
2010. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Well, it just kind of turned up the volume on a few of his quirkities.
Oh, it's like having a microstroke then. It's
a little bit. Yeah.
Someone I got real wasted at a work party here. Was it right before the holidays?
Nice.
And one of the guys at work described my behavior. He said you were like Rick, but like 5 times the Rick.
Awesome.
so he's like Dad, but like 5 times the dad.
Totally.
It's
so funny.
Speaking of, how are you when you get drunk? Does it depend on what you're drinking, or is it?
Ask my wife. There's levels. You know, when I get to
you're
where.
not divorced, so
no. This last time she did not care for how I was, but I've been inebriated to where she rather enjoed it. You know, where I was kind of, a little bit jovial.
You're fun drunk.
Yeah. I can be. I mean, I'm not. I got most of my drinking out of the way before I was 18.
Yeah, me too.
But I would become. I've had bouts where I'd just be really sad. Get that depressive sort of state.
Yeah.
And
I find that when you're drinking and if you're in a certain mood, when you start drinking, it just heightens that mood.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I never get sad drunk. I always get happy drunk, and I'm depending on the setting, it turns my volume up big time.
When I was taking heroic. Like cases of beer.
I am a light drinker. I talk a big game, but really it's like 4 drinks and I'm like.
Don't get me wrong. I know how to get to a buzz and then ride it.
Right.
But at this work party though, they were playing beer pong and doing shots, and it was just crazy.
That was my women's retreat. It was 2 old lesbians with a bottle of Fireball whiskey, and it was like all done. Night ended with me screaming "Gangster's Paradise" into a karaoke microphone, and dancing for 6 hours barefoot. It was wild. But that's the thing. I'm a setting. If I can drink wine at home and just be chill. But then you put me in a party with wine, and I'm the loudest, most obnoxious person at the party.
I'll tune into the vibe at the party. If everybody's just on their lips, I'll get right there real quick. Or it's. But
it's me also. If I'm at a party and I'm not drinking, I'm also the loudest, most obnoxious person at the party.
Yeah, no, I can't handle being in a party where people are drinking and I'm not. It's I just kind of, I don't know. I get sort of
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I could see that. But I'm just a loud, obnoxious person, and so when I drink and I'm loud and obnoxious, I'm like, why did I drink? I was so loud and obnoxious. But then I'm like, no, that's me. Yeah. That's my core.
I usually wake up the next day going, I was pretty awesome.
What does Kanita tell you?
Well, usually she's not there.
Does she? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, right on.
Unless the Cambodians are afoot.
Yeah.
Every time you bring up your Cambodian friends.
They're not even my friends. They're her friends.
There's only been a few bouts where I've not remembered what's happened. I haven't remembered everything that I've said, but I've remembered what's happened and what,
The only times I've ever not remember what happened was I black out and then I wake up in my own sick. So that
happened to me once, and I call it the
evidence is pretty clear.
Of 2003. Because I vomited the most I've ever vomited in my life, and couldn't use hairspray for a month because the smell of the hairspray would make me go, like it made me. It was rough. The people who were there were like, that was totally like me not understanding like how to manage. Like I was just I hadn't drank up until that point, and then like. It was like other people were pouring drinks and I just had no sense of how much to drink. And after that point, I learned that lesson.
There we go. Yeah, you can't do too much. There's for sure there's a line.
Exactly. Yeah. And I learned
it's kind of like a cliff that you want to just get as close as you can to it, but you don't want to go over.
That if I'm drinking in a home, I can never pour my own drinks if it's at a party because I'll get too drunk and I'll pour a drink drunk and it's just a glass of gin. And then I'm just drinking a glass of gin because like I'm too drunk to know what to drink.
The drinks get progressively stronger as the night progresses.
And that's when I also decided to learn to like wine. Because I didn't like wine at first because I didn't know how to buy it and I would always buy a shitty bottle of wine. But I was like, I need to learn to drink something that's not so intense that's like booze.
Right.
I didn't really like beer either.
I don't like beer at all except for barley wine ale.
Say, you do like some beer.
Barley wine ale I love. It's
I like beer. I just don't like drinking beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, but barley wine ale, it's a stronger proof. It's like a 12% to 14.
That's why they call it. That's why they start calling it wine after.
But it's like everything that you'd think that beer was, the taste and the heartiness and the all right. I mean, it's not like I've ever even really craved it either. But if I'm gonna drink beer, and it's hard to find, I haven't found it anywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual.
I had a barley wine not too long ago, and it's at 9%.
Okay.
And it was called Knucklehead by Bridgeport.
I don't know if I've had their.
Okay.
Oh wait, Knucklehead's not the brewery?
No.
I'm thinking of something else.
Knucklehead's the name of the beer.
The one that I like is called Old Guardian, and it's by Stone Brewery. Okay. They do the Arrogant Bastard ales and
my favorite.
Yeah, but their barley wine is just it's so good.
I feel that beer was named just for me.
Yeah. The Arrogant Bastard. Yeah. I'm not too keen on the stouts. I mean,
I love stout.
I'll drink them, and actually a friend of mine.
And if something's called a cherry stout, like if they mention cherry in it, I always love it.
Nice. I had an espresso stout yesterday.
Ooh, yum.
Yeah.
I've had an espresso stout, and it's.
I was 6,800 feet yesterday drinking an espresso stout.
6,800
feet? Crystal Mountain, right?
Crystal Mountain. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
where is Crystal Mountain?
The south, isn't it?
It's Chinook Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's,
right on.
You go out Enumclaw. It's still in King County.
I would say if it's nice and cold, it's one of the better places to go in this area. But if it's wet, don't even bother.
Really?
Yeah.
Go to do what? Ski,
yeah. Snow conditions, yeah. You want to get north, like Stevens and Baker.
It was phenomenal yesterday.
Yeah? Oh, nice.
We rode the gondola up. We took the tourist package, and it was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life because I didn't have my snowboard with me.
Oh, yeah. How do you... That's like...
That was like taking...
That'd be like... going to a restaurant and not eating the food.
taking a starving person into a
buffet. I know, totally, dude. How long has it been since you've been?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the conditions weren't all that great, but it was the conditions.
Were people doing it? Were people out there?
Oh, yeah. It was kind of dry, though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of snowpack, but it's the sunny...
the weather. Clear, when the weather's good there, it's just
clear and warm.
Totally.
We sat outside. There was no breeze. I don't know if it went away, but I was sun-kissed.
Yeah, looks like you had a little,
I got sun-kissed yesterday.
Nice.
met a coworker up there. He actually overheard me talking about it, so he took his girlfriend up there and they met us up there. This guy is like the opposite of me as far as like physicality. He is 6'7" and maybe weighs I want to say tops 200 pounds.
Okay.
So he's like big stretch.
Tiny.
We probably occupy the same amount of mass, but he's more vertical. I'm horizontal.
If you were a Gumby doll, you just pulled on the head and the feet.
My wife took a picture of us and we're standing side by side, and I sent it to him. I said, "Oh, it looks like I need to go on a diet. You need to eat a sandwich."
Nice. Cool. It sounds fun.
It's worth the trip. It's a little expensive. We spent $100 on lunch.
Wow. Well, does that include the gondola?
No, the gondola is a la carte. You have to pay for that separate. That's $20.
Really, for one trip up and back?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not that. Go to Whistler is better. It's like $14.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, 30. Yeah, it's $14.
I could not go to Whistler and not ski though. That'd be sacrilegious. That'd just be.
Yeah, I did it. It's hard.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Well, it's only because I screwed up. I was looking at the winter schedule and I wasn't looking.
You guys do the timeshare thing though, right?
Well, they also we do that too. But Whistler, they have like segments. Well, they had it broken down. Like this time of the day, you buy a lift ticket and it's this price, and then you wait till this, and it's like tier it down. Well, they weren't on the tiered. They weren't on the tiered yet. They were still on the fall schedule.
Full day.
Yeah.
One price.
And
no
so
matter
I was like, oh, I'll just go up in the afternoon. It'll be awesome. And when I get up there to buy a lift ticket, it's like, for what? We're closing in like 10 minutes.
Oh, that sucks.
I was like, oh, well, I tried to let me on for free, and they're like, no.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah, and it made it. They did it all in an Australian accent, so it made it okay.
Yeah.
No can do, mate.
You're so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not much of a skier, but we've discussed this before.
Bat the cave.
Oh, see, I got that problem.
Sorry, man. I love using the phrase now, so I'll tell people.
Nice. So one thing I also was gonna talk about was this weird thing that happened to me yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. Okay. So I love artichokes, right? You guys eat a lot of artichokes?
Do you do the steam with mayonnaise?
No, I do the steam with cream cheese that I cut just a little bit with sour cream so it makes it smoother.
Sure, yeah.
I do jalapeno cream cheese.
You know, if you add salt to cream cheese, it kind of fluffs it up too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I've never tried that.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy the fluffed stuff. Just add salt to it.
Okay, and then stir it up.
Yep.
I'll try that.
I love artichokes.
I'm obsessed with them. I started eating them again like 6 months ago, and I eat like 3 a week. I'm so.
Do you like the the marinated artichoke hearts? Do you like those?
They're okay. Yeah. I prefer the steamed, dipping, whatever. Yeah. And mostly it's like having like almost like a TV snack too. Like it's the low carb popcorn.
Oh, nice.
You know,
right on.
Yeah. Where you're like watching TV, eating artichoke. It's like a fun thing. But they have those damn little spiny things on them.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And I was checking out of the check lane and had all my food there, and I went to grab the artichoke to put it in my bag, and the one of the little spiny things just hit the perfect spot on my ring finger, and it erupted blood. Because you have an artery that runs through your artery, which are pressurized blood veins that run through your ring finger. It's one of the more major arteries in your hand, which I learned in an anatomy class when we were learning blood centrifuges, and we were taking our own blood to use in the centrifuge, and our teacher was like, don't hit it right in the middle, because you will hit the artery and it will squirt across the room.
And so you hit that
do
artery.
It on the side. I hit it with my artichoke, and it just like burst blood everywhere, and I was like, and I just like couldn't get it to stop, and I bled all over QFC, and then it was really nice that the guy, it was like
sue for punitive damages.
I should. The self-checkout guy was like, what's happening? And I was like, I got myself in an artichoke, and he just like looked at me like I was crazy, and then got me stuff it was really nice. He got me like Band-Aids and alcohol wipes.
So this is your Band-Aid story?
Yeah, and it was like a little packet of Neosporin to put on it, and I was like, it was literally just a pinprick sized thing.
Yeah.
But so like once I got pressure on it for a while, it stopped. But it was just so like shocking.
Have a little fish hook for stitches if you want.
I know, it was
Sutures.
really nice.
Yeah.
But it was just such a weird. I was just like picking up an artichoke, and then it was like blood erupted from my hand,
Wow.
and I was like, meh. And found out if you touch a raw artichoke and then put your finger in your mouth, it tastes really bad. Because artichokes are like super bitter.
They have
it tastes almost like earwax. Yeah, it's really.
How would you know what that tastes like?
Because you like scratch your ear and then an hour later bite your fingernail and you're like, ugh, gross. You've never done that?
Not
Tastes
really.
your own earwax. It's super gross.
really don't have a lot of earwax.
Really?
I do. Yeah, I'll do the Q-tips after my showers, and there's hardly anything on there.
Probably because you do Q-tips after your showers.
Yeah.
If you went a week or two, you'd get some stuff going.
Yeah. Okay.
I do the hydrogen peroxide in the ear. That feels so good.
Oh yeah.
I love that. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I like hydrogen peroxide.
I know, it's like, and for a person with allergies, it's like when you get that itchy ear, I just lay there and like,
pop happening.
It's so like soothing. Yeah.
Well, speaking of low carb snacks and or meals, what else do you do if you? Because I'm thinking of getting on.
Yeah, you were saying that
to me.
I don't know if I want to do like the gradual. Okay, I'll just take out soda and take out dessert, and take or if I want to just do the. Cold turkey, let's just knock it off.
For me, the cold turkey works better because I'm also kind of half-assing it. Like Friday I had a bagel for breakfast because I was at that training and they had whole wheat bagels and I was like, like I figure like, and it's working. I mean, last week I lost like 4 pounds and I had a bagel. Are you
getting like the indications of eating ketosis, like the metallic-y breath and the higher energy or any of those?
I do have a lot of the higher energy. I don't think
not necessarily
ketosis,
higher energy, but
more consistent.
More consistent,
right?
Yeah.
I definitely have that. But I don't think, because how you get the really bad breath and stuff, I don't have any of that. I think that's because I'm eating a lot of vegetables, and vegetables have natural carbohydrates, and every once in a while a bagel or whatever. So it's probably
more of a low glycemic index?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I stopped drinking anything at home, and so
Besides water?
Right. I mean, alcohol.
Oh, I see. Okay, sure.
Which now that basically means all I drink is coffee and water because I'm not really into
vodka's supposed to be like the low carb.
I know, but when you're on a low carb diet and you drink, you get drunk immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like one.
Well, there's no sugars to burn through.
Yeah.
Because you're just all.
It's intense.
Yeah.
So
cheap date.
I cut out. Yes. But I cut out. In 2014, I'm not allowed to drink in my apartment, which cuts out like 99% of my drinking. Okay. Because every once in a while I'll go out for like a cocktail with a friend.
Yeah.
But like most of the time it's a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah.
And so for financial reasons and to help with my workouts and stuff, I cut out alcohol at home. And I think that's actually really helped the most because I cut out probably 1,000 calories a week.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if it's like a good big like an 8-ounce glass of wine a night, that's like 500 calories a day. So it's significant. But okay, so here's what I eat. I do the artichokes. I do carrots are okay, even though carrots are higher carb.
Right. But it's still.
I figure it's better than a.
They're at the upper end of what you can do. But
right.
Sure. Well, there's enough fiber in carrots though that it's a more benefit, I think, more fiber wise than.
So I'll do like carrots and ranch. I'll do like a red pepper sliced julienne with ranch. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I do like a.
Do you cook them or? Do you cook them?
No, I do it raw.
Okay, nice.
I'll do like a can of tuna fish with some ranch and stir it up and put some cheese on and throw it in the microwave for a minute.
White albacore or just straight
like tuna melt?
Just any. Yeah, so then it's a little tuna melt, and then I eat it with a spoon. That's jam.
Nice.
I'll do. I mean, most of the time it's like a grilled chicken and veg dinner.
Okay,
I'll do like a spaghetti squash, which tastes like a starch side, but has almost no carbs in it.
Okay.
That's really good.
That's a big big staple in the raw food.
Oh, is it?
My spaghetti strong squash.
Have you ever done the cauliflower potatoes?
I have. It grosses me out. It doesn't taste anything like potatoes to me.
I was just curious.
Yeah, but I have tried it. I prefer just steamed cauliflower, really.
Okay, yeah.
But I do, mostly for dinner, I try to do like a nice big portion of lean meat, like a turkey or chicken or fish.
Do you go for the red meats at all? Steak?
Sometimes I'm not that into red meats, but like I'll do a taco salad that's like taco meat and cheese and lettuce and tomato and avocado, and that's a good.
Nice.
But mostly it's just like veg and but for the snacks it's the peppers or carrots with a little bit of ranch, and I do ranch out of sour cream in the mix because a lot of times the bottle dressing they have a bunch of carbs that they add. But if you just do the mix and the sour cream, it's like almost none.
Yeah. Well, the dips I've found, like if you buy like a ranch dip from the cold section, there's a lot less preservatives and stuff in it too.
Like
if you're buying ranch off the shelf in the middle of the store, it's like, what the heck are they putting in that?
You're basically just buying like a bottle of kerosene.
That stuff doesn't rot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what the heck?
It tastes gross to me. I just don't.
Okay, pork rinds.
When I'm really like feeling junk foodie, I'll do chorizo and eggs, and pork rinds as tortilla chips, and sour cream, and just like a pork rind, dip it in the chorizo and eggs with some sour cream.
Interesting.
It's so good and
that
so
sounds really
fatty.
good for like
and
a
no
tailgate
carb.
food. That sounds really good.
Well,
it's my like Friday night. I want something gross and junk foody, but I don't want to ruin my I don't want to get like nachos and ruin my diet. It's low carb nachos.
Well, okay, so the reason why I'm kind of bringing all this up is there's this guy named Gary Taubes, I think is his name, and he's kind of like, it's a wide diet.
Taubes.
Yes.
He's the guy who wrote Why We Get Fat.
Exactly.
One of my favorite books.
That's totally. I watched a couple.
We've talked about that before, haven't we?
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I think so.
But anyway, so he's kind of got hooked my interest as far as, okay, let's kind of get the diet going, just because I could use the extra energy at work. I've gotten thinner since I've worked, but I've kind of really plateaued for the last 6 months.
Well, that's what'll happen when you do a significant
but my diet hasn't changed a squat. It's like my muscles have gotten better, and I'm in better shape.
But your body's kind of adjusted to it now.
Pretty
and
much,
is like,
yeah. And I don't want to exercise more.
Right.
But I do know that sugars and the low fat really isn't going to be my cup of tea.
So you're thinking of a low carb thing?
Yeah. Well, but the flip side is it's not like I have to do the diet. It's like now because it's like me and my wife are really, we try to overlap at things, and she gets a little, hopefully she doesn't hear this, I guess, but it's like, well, what about me kind of thing? How's this going to affect me now that you're doing this? Because we can't do our meals together.
That's hard though.
It's my biggest challenge.
I've been there where it stresses me out. Like I was dating this guy who got diagnosed with diabetes. And I get real weird about too much emphasis on losing weight, and he was like, I really need to get on this, and I was it made me really anxious because I was like, oh no, now I'm gonna be latched to this person who's super hardcore into dieting, and I'm so not that person.
I don't know if I'll get hardcore. I'm hardcore into doing the stuff that I feel is harming me. It's like coffee and cigarettes. I could feel the harm.
Right.
Sugar, I'm starting to kind of feel the harm. So it's like I'm more apt to cut stuff out than be okay, now we got to do this, now we got to do that. Yeah. Rather than so more out of fear, really, than out of, hey, I want to lose X amount of inches or whatever.
Right.
So
but what I'm saying though is that I can empathize with Alex, where she's like, I'm part of your unit, and what you do affects me, and let's talk
she's
about
real
it.
Big on when I say me, it's like what I want to do is, well, what about we? What about us? It's like, oh, ouch. Well, all right.
Oh man, I kind of wish I had that problem. Kenita's I was just like, whatever.
Oh yeah.
You do what you want, I do what I want.
Well, pretty much that's She's always been like that. When she's hungry, she'll eat. She won't even ask me if I'm hungry.
No.
Luckily,
she's not married to Alex.
Yeah, Alex is very much a what are we doing for dinner, and wants it to be. When I was living with them, it was I loved it. Like it was like, what are we doing for dinner?
It was a structure,
very, very like family time.
She'll do that from time to time, but it's like it's
which
not
is weird
always.
Because she's a single child. You'd think it would be the opposite.
I know. I know.
I'm still more of an every man for himself
like,
sort of.
Screw you guys, I'm eating.
Yeah.
Before anyone notices.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of where we're at with food too. It's like we'll buy a bunch of stuff, but I'll hammer through 3/4 of it easy.
Oh, yeah.
And she won't even touch it. She'll be like, "Didn't I buy some of this?" And
you're
so
I ate
so
it.
there's a few things. Yeah. But I'm that way. And we're I almost
so you're
think I
like
have
living
eating
with
disorder.
a teenager. That's what it's like.
Almost, yeah.
I'm hiding. I'm
but the thing is,
now.
we used to sneak food when we were little to get,
Oh, totally. I remember a story, and I don't know if this has become family folklore in my mind. Did you and Tom eat a big box full of ice cream sandwich cookies at one point when we lived in Pennsylvania?
Oh, the cookie. Oh, yeah, that was the big. They would buy my folks would buy.
I remember you guys ate them all, and Mom was so mad. But I was really young, and I remember sititting in the room with you guys.
But that was the
while
go-to
you were,
sugar treat. I mean, for a while there, we would go in the closet and eat brown sugar, just because
it was there.
Yeah, it was there.
We were a squirrel family where I would make a cake mix. Just make
cake mixes were the
in
big
a bowl
thing.
and go to my room and eat it with a spoon. Because if you baked it, Mom would find out.
Yeah.
But if you just brought it to your room and ate it, you could just eat it.
Yeah,
that was my thinking.
Without,
we had some eating malformities in our house. I partially blame it on just lack of structure. It was there was so much chaos all the time. It was just grabbing food and swirling it.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors involved with our upbringing.
You got how many people living in your house?
Because I know Mom listens to this podcast, I'm trying to really be.
No, there was some eating stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, I had the era of being a teenager while everyone was gone.
Yeah,
and
Mom
you were
just kind of at the back end of it.
I'm done cooking. When I was about 13, she was just yep, I'm done. And then it was Costco egg rolls and corn dogs for my
that we had that.
Fat.
I mean,
totally.
I mean, I'm not trying to get into comparison or anything like that.
I know. But Mom would just buy a thing of it and put it in the freezer.
Yeah, and then burritos,
the whole box of egg rolls from Costco.
Because I remember when I came home and lived for a little bit when I was going back to school.
Yeah.
That was kind of the case until she decided to take the stove irons out because.
Really?
Oh, you don't remember that?
No.
Oh.
She took the burners off the stove?
So we couldn't make food?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
That makes sense.
Wow.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Anyway.
I do remember eating 12 egg rolls in one sitting kind of eating.
Yeah.
I got fat in a ferocious... I mean, I was always fat, but in that era, I went from being chubby to being truly fat in a very short amount of time. Which actually, my niece, who's 5, was having a slumber party at my house last weekend, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to show her some family pictures. And so I got out my photo album, and we were going through pictures of me as a kid and pictures of the family, and here's your mom and here's me. And then got to high school, and she was I was and then there's me in high school. And she was like, that's you? You look like a fat boy. And I was yeah, pretty much. Because I had real short hair and dressed awful and was I mean, I'm fatter now, but I looked fatter because
Did you tell her that you were the homecoming queen though one year?
I didn't.
I mean, that'd be
I was
good.
Prom princess, to be
Balance
specific.
It's
I
you
did
and
it.
Autumn?
Yeah, me and Autumn were both prom princesses in the same
Which I think
year,
is
and
just
Vanya.
awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
It was basically me and Autumn were talking about it one day, and we were how come it's always like these girls who, I was like, I'm more friends than her. I bet if I got all my friends to vote for me, we could be prom
no doubt,
queen.
really? Oh,
and we
nice.
just were like, hey, vote for me for prom
cool.
queen. And my choir class, everybody in my choir class was like, on the day they handed out the ballots, I was like, hey, everyone write me down. And everyone wrote me down.
Nice.
And then one of my friends was on...
It was an unviolent coup.
I know. One of my friends was on the committee that counted the votes, and he was like, well, the person who gets the most votes is always like 10 votes. So of course you'll get it because it's really not that hard.
Everybody votes for the little clique of folks. And,
it was really funny.
And you had the biggest clique then.
Yeah, totally. And then it was like this rallying thing that like everybody was really like, oh my gosh, this is the best year. It's people actually like instead
sort
of like
a bandwagon.
Yeah,
nice.
It was really fun. And like the teacher though that was the head of the prom committee, Autumn and I both thought it was hilarious because she hated us, and like we would go to the meetings where she was like, you're ruining prom, like the sanctity of prom royalty is being defouled by you unwashed, because we were like, Autumn was like the stoner, like the one who shaved her head in the 8th grade and was forever known as the girl who shaved her head and like wore, like combat boots and berets to school.
So
and I was
cool.
like she would have been cool now. Like she was cool in the sense of like people liked her.
The cartoon Daria.
Yes.
Have you ever seen Daria?
So she was ironic.
Have you ever seen Daria?
Yeah, a little bit.
She's Jane, 100%.
Yeah, totally.
Like Jane wears the boots.
But before it was cool. It was sort of a rub off
cool.
of the new wave of our generation's new wavy sort of. But that was not cool. No. Especially in Tri-Cities, it was all.
It was not cool.
Oh,
but
I don't know about in Pasco. It might have been,
maybe.
but I don't know. Yeah.
But like at the time, it was like we were for example, in the senior favorites, she was voted least likely to be seen in class, and she got like suspended all the time, and like she was like the subversive kid, and I was just like a drama choir nerd, I was like the fat kid, but like everybody liked us, and that was the weird part, and so that's what we leveraged of like let's take it back
to show how well Peggy and Autumn and that crowd were liked. You had a like a party at our house once, and it's like so the downstairs was filled with like maybe about 30 kids, and folks were gone, and I was upstairs trying to watch TV. It's like, all right, let these guys be out of work, but someone crapped in your pool big time because they were turning the power off.
Oh yeah.
And that made me livid. It was like,
Rick
come
was
on.
like,
I was just like, I totally lost it and was just yelling. And it was
I felt so bad.
Well, no, I'd have been fine with everything happening, but they had to go turning the power off because the breaker box was like right in the middle. And I gave them like three chances. Like, look, all right. And they were like, all right, let's see I'm sure they were like, let's see how angry this guy can get.
I'm sure.
It's like,
so everyone was out.
But then everybody was just like, I was like, if you're in here in 10 minutes, the cops are going to be here. It's like, I
felt so bad too, because that was me getting peer pressured in, because I was totally like at school going like, well, my parents are out of town, and people were like, let's go to Peggy's house. And I was like, okay.
Oh, no.
Like if I had more confidence, I would have been like, I'm going home and going to sleep. Like I so didn't want them there. But, and then I felt so bad because I was like,
I didn't care. It's like, all right, come on, just don't even, why do you gotta go turning her power off?
I know, just have fun. They were just being douchebags, though.
They were being kids.
Well, I know. I'm sure just one or two folks that were just screwing it up for everybody, but I don't know. I remember.
Funny.
But just.
Didn't you have like a girl over too? You had like your girlfriend there. I remember that. I was
maybe.
like,
I don't know. Did I have?
I'm interrupting Rick's date, and then I just felt bad.
No, and I wasn't angry at you at all.
I know.
I was just like, man, but why you guys couldn't have pulled it together and been like, all right, you two are fucking it up. Let's get you guys out of here because. Sorry for the F-bomb, Mom, but
I say F-bomb all the time. No, I was very much not cool, but for some reason, like, people liked me, and I was that weird person who was, like, definitely not a cool person, but very well known. And, like, for whatever, I think it's because I did weird stuff.
To your class, though, I think, because, I mean, my class didn't like anybody like that, it's like, if you were kind of oddball, you were sort of shunned or whatever, but everybody was like either a jock or cowboy or both.
Oh,
you know,
that's tough.
so it's like 90% of our class
Cowboy
at
jock.
least was cowboy jock. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Drove the trucks with the crop top,
Oh, yeah.
the flannel and cowboy boots and jeans, and went out for football. And that was Richland High School.
Totally.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and like my class was cool though. There were a lot of I had friends who were cheerleaders and football players, and like one of my best friends was like he was like in all honors classes, sang with the choir, and was on the football team. Like there was a lot of crossover.
Okay.
So I think it was just like right time, right place. To be kind of like not a cool person, but that people were kind of nice. Like I didn't ever get messed with past junior high. There was like one girl in junior high that messed with me, but after that it was kind of just like, I'm just like a different looking person. Nobody really bothers me.
I was an art nerd, so I went out for wrestling once, but
right on.
Yeah.
I never did wrestling. I wanted to do some kind
wrestling
of
is like take everything you hate about gym and do it for 2 hours every day. That's wrestling. There you go.
We did it in PE one time, and I'd always fart when I'd be wrestling.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah,
cool.
Totally.
I sweated big time. I would just sweat, so I could slip out of anything.
You were the greasy pig.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No.
I did get in immaculate shape though. I think I was down to like 146 or something.
It can't be healthy for you because I was watching kids in school and they would drop weight. It's just to make a certain weight class.
They put a bunch of like sweatshirts on and run around for
like
forever.
Spit in a bucket all day. What do you call that?
Like salt and
jar or something. Yeah, a lot of
and
stuff.
chew. Everybody chewed. Yeah, that was like the big. Anyway.
Yeah, high school was fun times. I was actually looking at a yearbook recently from high school that my friend has, and I was just like, wow, there's so much. Like, I had fun in high school. To me, it wasn't a torturous experience. It was just like stupid stuff constantly, but that's because I had Autumn and we would just do dumb shit all the time. Like anything dumb, we would do it just because we thought it was funny and we were bored at school. Like we had a spirit rock and we kept talking about like painting it brown to make it like a big turd and stuff.
Nice.
Like we would like want to dress up like each other's moms for Halloween and like we would just do like draw stupid pictures in class and get in trouble, and we had a great time. Yeah, I liked it. Anyway, well, we're about out of time, so thanks for listening.
Oh, wow. That went big fast.
I know,
thanks,
we're
listeners.
even like 10 minutes over.
Yeah.
I'm just cutting it off because I got hungry all of a sudden. I need to go find some protein in my body.
I mistakenly thought I could get a meal here. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I tried to
I guess
find
it's kind of a roll of the dice. We should look into that before.
I know. I did. I just couldn't find a good place that had breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah,
so I was like, well, I just picked a place. So.
Quiche is good.
The quiche looked good. I should have gotten one.
My mom's ruined me to quiche, though. I still, to this day, will just...
You know, REI across the street's got a good restaurant at too.
Do they? Weird. That's
right
bizarre.
On.
There's also a Lunchbox Laboratory around the corner.
It's hippie dippy type food though.
Okay. Ew, hippies.
I kind of want to just get home and rest. I think I got to be up at. I got to get to work at 2:30 tomorrow. So.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Before we
leave. Yeah.
Just a quick mention about Super Bowl. You said you were going to a party or
my friend invited me to a party, and I said, "Do I have to watch the game?" And she's like, "Nah, if you want to." And I was like, "All right, I'll be there."
Usually there's good food.
Yeah, I was
those
like,
kind of parties.
Booze and food. I'll come over to your house. Hopefully people won't be too into it, because sometimes I go to Super Bowl parties and it's like nobody's talking, everyone's just staring at the TV.
It's going to be hard to imagine that nobody's going to be into it though.
I know, because
it should be a pretty compelling game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other. So depending on the weather, I guess there was talk I heard that they were going to change it to Saturday.
Yeah,
which would have been crazy.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
because of the blizzard.
Yeah, crazy.
It's supposed to get like 3 feet of snow or some weird thing like that.
I think it should play on.
Well,
I have no opinion.
Totally. I think they shouldn't put them in stadiums where there could be this potential. It's like get a roof over your stadium or somewhere, in the better weather areas.
I was not aware that they moved the game.
Oh yeah, it's a different stadium every. You petition. It's sort of like the Olympics. It's like, hey, come here.
Yeah, it's like they planned it out years in advance.
Yeah. Weird. I thought it was just always.
Seattle sadly will never have a Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah,
because they built the stadium too small.
Right.
And it's open air. That's the two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who cares? Put the Super Bowl at some place where it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, totally.
So you can't say, well, if it wasn't for the weather.
Right.
No, has there ever been a team that's had home field, like really, like they made it to Super Bowl and it happened to be in their home.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's happened. But anyway, but home field really wouldn't be. Well, I don't know. It might be. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm not that sports savvy. I mean, I'm pretty layman when it comes to
Peggy's interest.
I lost interest 10 minutes ago. This will be me at the party. I'll just go have a couple drinks, eat some wings, and then leave. Yeah.
I have this secret conspiratorial theory, though, that the NFL will be biased towards anyone. It's like whoever the NFL can make the more money off of will win the Super Bowl in merchandising and or viewership and or ads and whatever. And my case in point is the 2005 Super Bowl where the Seahawks lost to Pittsburgh in a very unquestionably referee biased.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry,
No, I just saw something on my screen.
Yeah, that sort of was the last nail in the coffin for me for being.
How do they make more money on Pittsburgh, though?
Well, because they're East Coast, they're not as well known, or they're a lot more well known than the Seahawks.
Yeah, a little bit more.
See, I guess I don't know anything about sports, so I don't know how
they printed up like 3 or 4 times as many Pittsburgh won the Super Bowl shirts than they did Seahawks won the Super Bowl shirts.
Because they have a bigger fan base.
That's my guess.
And also that all the ads were ran, like if you watch Super Bowl ads, they were Pittsburgh biased.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's there just because, I don't know, I think all professional sports are a big monopoly. The NFL is a big monopoly, the NBA is a big monopoly.
Totally.
There's no other, there's other sports you can watch, I guess, so it's not quite a monopoly on sports.
Well, you know what sport I'm excited about?
The Winter Olympics?
Fucking Olympics.
Nice.
Because in true stereotypical form, the person not interested in sports is counterintuitively obsessed with the Olympics. I love the Olympics.
Well, you just love the Olympics.
I love the Olympics. The pageantry of it. I love
the summer or the winter?
Either. I like an opening ceremony. I like a weird sport where I'm going, I don't even know what's going on. This is so weird. Like the biathlon is my favorite winter sport because it's like cross-country skiing and then shooting. It makes no sense.
Well, I think
it's totally weird.
They've opened up the women's ski jump.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which for a long time, that was a big controversial thing. Like, why can't women jump off ski jumps too?
Totally.
Having
a vagina makes you unable to do this.
It has got more interesting lately for me because they have the snowboarding and it's better.
Yeah.
And
that's fun to watch.
I like the ramp up of the terrorism factor. That's going to be fun to watch.
A big name is going to get murdered somehow.
That's actually happened.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was listening to the radio on the way in, and they were talking about it.
Don't even talk about Munich because that movie. I'm not even joking. I do have an Olympics thing. Have you seen Munich? It's about the Israeli athletes that were massacred in Munich.
Yeah.
When they show it, weeping. I'm not kidding. Like the most ferocious weeping in the theater by me because I could not handle. It's like this pageantry and like, these people have worked their whole lives and they're these amateur athletes.
They're slaughtered in their sleep.
Slaughtered, and it's like the most depressing thing you could imagine. Smashing Olympics with random anti-Semitic murder.
Was that in the early 80s?
Yeah.
I think so.
That movie is freaking sad. And then anytime they've even, because then the movie's about these people who get revenge, it's so good. They go to find the people who perpetrated it and assassinate them, and it's awesome.
Good.
But anytime they even bring up the assassins are like, well, the men of the Olympics, I'm just like, yeah! Like every time they mentioned it, I would start crying again, and I'm like, I can't deal with this movie.
It's like Pavlov's bell there.
It was like it's probably the saddest movie until 12 Years a Slave, which was just an hour and a half of me sobbing. But like that Munich was probably the saddest movie I've ever seen because it's like
watch Dancer in the Dark.
I know. It's just like someone punched me in the gut over and over again. But anyway.
We should try to end our shows a half an hour into them instead of...
totally. Now we're
get 17
minutes over time.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for listening. Tell a friend. Watch the Olympics. Watch the Super Bowl. Yay.
Go Hawks.
And, go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks.
And that's it. Huzzah.
Pretty much. Later.